Delighted to be here, I have to say. We are in Ancora Arts Centre Theatre in South Derry to celebrate a very special club. A minute down the road from where we're sitting this evening, defined by more than medals and achievements, although they have lots of both. Founded in 1953, we are of course talking about Slaughtneil, GAA club, known all over the island. I was just saying to the people here this evening that our GAA sponsors, AIB, who of course sponsored the club football, ladies football, camogie and hurling championships, wanted us to come and go to a club across the winter and chat to them about what makes the club special. And straight away we said, oh, we'd love to go to Slaughtneil. And thank you to the good folk here who facilitated us and made this happen. And thanks to all of you for coming out. So we are here and we are happy to be here. So we're going to kick things off with a hurling/camogie panel. And I have on stage, they have been volunteered or roped into this, I'm not sure which. We have Cliona Ní Bhíonán, we have her brother, Rory Ó Bhíonán, we have Claire McGrath, and we have Shane McGuigan, everybody. You're all very welcome. Only in this club, Shane, could you not make the grade to be on the football panel?
I'm not really known that I play hurling throughout Ireland, but I'll happily step on the night.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you here. So, well, I guess you're a dual player. Claire, camogie, can I just read out your honours list to let people know? Correct me if I'm wrong. 10 county titles to your name, 6 Ulster titles to your name, 2 All-Irelands to your name.
That's correct, yeah. I've missed out on an All-Ireland and an Ulster and a Derry. I had a baby in amongst that as well, so.
Okay.
Yep. Playing camogie was easier.
And then in Cliona, we have 7 county titles, 4 Ulsters, 1 All-Ireland.
Yeah, I was one of the younger ones that came at the tail end of the All-Ireland, so I was lucky enough to be able to play with pure legends here, Aoife and Claire and all the rest of them, so I'm still learning a lot from them. Very good. And Rory, younger brother by 2 years. You were saying how well you two get along, by the way. Is that well known?
We get on great, no fighting.
You, like Shane, are a dual player, very much.
Yeah, played dual from all the way from under 6 up, as majority of the people in the club do, so happy enough.
Yeah. Shane, give us a sense of that, because I think right across the board, dual players are just a huge part of this club. They're kind of increasingly romanticised, rare species, but not here.
I suppose we have no real choice in that regard. Your mommy and daddy they just throw you out to the both. We're lucky enough that we have no real soccer or rugby or any of them type of distractions. So the football and hurling, and now actually with the ladies, they've got the option of going to the ladies football and camogie. And look, I think if you've got the option to keep your children as much as you can in the GAA roots, then it's only a positive for them.
Yeah, I guess what's so remarkable though is how successful the club is across the board. Like, you would think something has to give, but it seems like you're able to maintain success on all fronts.
We've been lucky enough in the past with different management teams, different coaches. They all just get it, to be fair. And I know things were they're going great there maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago when we were winning on all fronts, and we knew that them days couldn't last. But as long as we're competing and we keep bringing as many of the youth through, showing them the way, I think it'll stand to us in the future.
Yeah. So, Cliona, Claire, are you going to take up football now, or when's that happening?
I think I'm too old in the tooth for that, but that's over to Cliona there.
Come on, Cliona.
I probably would, but it's difficult enough when because I'd be out at the county with Aoife too, so you come back and you're straight into club, so. But definitely, I consider it, and it's deadly to see the younger girls playing both, and it's just normal to them, and it's good as well. At least the boys obviously successfully do both, so we can learn from them. And it's the 1 club 4 codes now ethos used to be 1 club 3 codes, we used to say all the time. So hopefully that can, like, it can only be a good thing, really. Like Dad always talks about is the transferable skills from one game to the other, like, so hopefully we can improve on that and build on it.
When you say daddy, so your father played hurling for Derry and your mother played camogie for Donegal.
Yeah, that's right.
So you two didn't lick it off a stone, basically.
Well, I don't know, Daddy was the goalkeeper for Derry. Mommy was a full back, so that's why we're all backs probably, but it's all we do in the house. Like, all the families in Slaughtneil is just like the religion, really, like, so.
Yeah. Rory, you managed to juggle too. How do you juggle too? I'm sure you get asked about that a lot. Is it a lot of common sense and everyone works together and plans it out and it's not overly difficult, very manageable, or is it tough?
I suppose the older boys, Shane, Rog, Chrissy, would probably be better.
I'm only 28, right? Holy Ghost.
Listen,
Shane, when are you retiring?
Sorry, I should have mentioned Chris. He's nearly 40, asking for his pension. But the older boys would sort of be better at letting you know, because they had to go through it at the start when it probably wasn't so normal. But we've come into a well-oiled machine, like, and it's not too hard. Like, the management teams both get on. They have to, because the players want to do both. And since you're under 6, like, you're playing both. So it's just sort of second nature. I wouldn't know any different.
Yeah. So I suppose it's just common sense things like not doubling up on conditioning, those kind of plans.
Basic things like that there. Gym would be done in that way. Running a training or conditioning a training would be done that way. And then training's obviously tailored depending on what sort of game you would have that weekend. You'd put more of an emphasis on that certain code. So thank God, since I've come in 4 years ago now, I think everything's just been smooth sailing in that way.
Yeah, and just touching on that there, the last few years, we've adopted dual sessions, like, and then it's kind of filtered through the club and the underage, and I think the boys were definitely glad of the extra night off when you could double up the two, and the management teams and whatnot worked it well, like, so it's been a massive benefit to us.
And is there ever much of a pressure, say, I don't know, from Derry football fans or management or from wherever coming up to you saying, here, you leave the hurling alone, like, let's focus on the big stuff, football all the way? Does that get said to you often, or do people generally like that you play both?
I'll not tell lies. People have said it in the past, but and it's funny enough, I was chatting to Kieran Mina, the Derry manager, there this evening, and he's removed, and Riga got the call up to the county set up there too this year, but he's removed us from the Derry group chat. He just wants us totally focused on the club, which was a breath of fresh air. That's the first year that's ever happened. So I've been more than thankful for that from him. If any of the managers in the past had been turning that screw or putting that to me, I think they would have knew the answer I would have given them. But you do get that pressure maybe from fans more so than the managers and things like that. They all know how much it means to us, and when you're competing at this elite level, when you can get into the provincial and All-Ireland series, it's no mean feat. Like,
the heartbreaking aspect, the Holy Grail aspect, and a national audience would be aware of this, I'm sure. 5 men's All-Ireland semi-finals, including last year, and no All-Ireland final appearance. So is that like a big Holy Grail in your world? Is that kind of the big thing?
Definitely. I think for me personally it would be. I think that's as much as my hurling career can really ever come to, playing hurling with the club in Croke Park. But it's interesting enough, when I was watching the Ballygunner highlights last night, and they were talking about how maybe in years gone by that they focused on provincials and focused on maybe who they were getting in an All-Ireland semi-final, and that's when they've got nipped in the past. And I think that's something that we definitely take that mantra. We can't go looking ahead. Don't get me wrong. I'm sitting here now. Would you say I would love to play in Croke Park in 2026? 100%. Like, but we know there's a massive 2 games before that, if that's ever to be achieved.
Yeah. Claire, the camogie success it's outrageous, really. So the breakthrough was in 2012, 11 county titles, 6 Ulsters, 3 All-Irelands, as you said. You were involved in 2 of them. So what's happened here? Why this outrageous 15 years or so?
Yeah, and I suppose just whenever you're growing up, and when I started playing camogie, or not started playing camogie, but started breaking onto the senior team, I think it was 2004, I had my debut. Those things were never on your mind to play in Croke Park. What Shane's talking about there now, it was trying to get your first win in a championship, and then it was trying to win a county final. But there was serious work put in by all of our volunteers, all of our club members, from grassroots right through to senior level. So that all started to come through. And I suppose whenever we won that first All-Ireland, again, our sights weren't on an All-Ireland. We just took that each game at a time. But upon reflection then, in terms of the second All-Ireland, the third All-Ireland, we went on to play then on a fourth All-Ireland, got beat by a point by Sarsfields in Croke Park as well. That was devastating, but actually when you look back, I suppose those fond memories and the camaraderie and the friendships, etc., that we had, but it all came down to, I suppose, just going back to the dedication of all of our coaches, and then just as Shane and Rory has said, then it was bringing the youth through. So there was always strong youth coming through, and that's still happening, which is great. And I suppose we're still have that hunger and that desire to be at that level. And I suppose just even reflecting back in this year, we got beat in the Ulster semi-final, which was absolutely devastating, because that's where I suppose we still want to be on that stage now, moving forward. So there's a lot still of work to go on, but I suppose we do look on those good old days, but you still want to win more and more, and I think with success you want more, you become greedy.
Yeah. I saw a quote from you where you said, "The girls become your best friends. I see more of them than my husband."
Yeah, that's maybe why we're still married 14 years later, but that's true. We be with each other for about 6 nights a week. You're training, and that's us, I suppose, at the gym, and then on the pitch. And then we did an extra ball wall session this year as well to try. We got beat in the county final last year by Slaughtneil, our club within this parish as well. So that drove us on even more. So we threw the kitchen sink at the county title this year. And as I say, we do see each other more than we see our families and our work colleagues and all of that. So they become your best friends, I suppose, which is a cliche, but when you're around people so much, that's what happens. Yeah.
Sleacht Néill, I think, isn't well known just because of obviously the success. There is the language aspect. So, I've been in the corner all day really, and the kids came in sometime after school and they're all speaking Oscuelga, and it's a really lovely thing. And you see all the names up on the board in the classroom, and they're all Irish names, and it feels so alive, the language, in a really lovely way. So give us a sense of that aspect, which seems fundamental. Like, is everyone here speaking Irish to some degree or other who's involved in the club, or would there be plenty of people saying, "Oh, not me"?
I'm probably one of the not me's, so it's Cliona and Rory here to my right who would be able to talk a lot about the Irish revival and language and culture here.
Go ahead, Cliona.
Cliona's our activist, aren't you, Cliona?
It's like obviously the language movement or the revival only started here 30 years ago. So you have the likes of Aoife up there, and like Granny Cahan and the Cassidy sisters would have been like the older ones who would have spoke Irish in our team, and they would have been the first ones to go through the primary school system here through Irish. And then now you have the likes of, we have the Guildhall now, which is an Irish medium secondary school. There's only 2 in the north, and that's only up the road. So we have the whole education system now through Irish, and it started just, again, it's a volunteer sort of culture that we have in the club, within the club, that moved and shook that there. But now you've underage, the majority of the Waynes speak Irish, and even the people who didn't get a chance to learn Irish, it's not as if they're against it. They're open to it, and everyone knows the value of it. And then even today, Cather O'Kane put up a thing in the Irish News talking about, we took a decision a few years ago as a club to use the name officially CLG Sleacht Néill, and he was just talking about how powerful that is. And like it's important that we use our platform as a successful club or as an Irish speaking community to set an example as well for other communities, because a lot of people, I was at uni down south and I'm working down south as well in Galway and Dublin, and it's just amazing just the amount of people who've heard of us through either the language or the sport, you know. So you just be very proud of it, and it's something that we should be very proud of, and like everyone puts their shoulder to the wheel, because it takes a whole community to keep it going. It's not just one or two people, it's everyone putting their shoulder to the wheel. So we're just blessed to have grown up where we're blowings too, like, so we're blessed to have grown up where we grew up, you know.
And why is it so important to you, or why do you think it's so important?
Well, for me and Rory, we were raised through Irish, so that's our first language. But it's just a sense of identity, and it's also, you know, up in the north, a lot of time you're questioned on your Irishness, or especially actually when you go down south, you'd be questioned on your Irishness. And we've always been Irish. Our parents, grandparents have always been Irish as anyone else, and it was nearly a matter of maybe proving it at the start. But now we don't have to prove it to anyone. People now look to Slaughtneil, you know, from all across the country, and we're ambassadors for the language and the sport and the culture, so it's unreal, and it's not just in Slaughtneil, it's growing across the country, there's a revival all across, so long way at last,
Yeah, the revival right across the island is very pronounced at the moment. It's hard to know what to put it down to, but it's really happening.
A lot of people put it down to kneecaps, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit of that. Another thing, Claire, sitting downstairs, was you got a sense of the community. You know, everyone coming in, everyone knew each other by first name. They were talking about the hurling on Sunday quite a bit. They were chatting about whatever's going on here next month or whatever. And I suppose in an increasingly kind of atomized, on our phone, looking at screens in our rooms society, God, the health of that really jumped out to me, that you've just people getting out of their own head, and it's small talk. No one's, you know, having deep and meaningfuls, but there's just a kind of sense of, I know you, you know me. It's kind of a check-in.
And I think probably you've seen it's such a rural area.
Yeah.
There's not much around bar or pitch. As you say, it's a minute away. And then we've got Carn here as well. And I suppose that's all we want to talk about nearly, is the hurling at the weekend. That's all that's in anybody's mind, is the hurling at the weekend, the match in 2 weeks' time. And that's the way it has been for a long period of time. We also, our pitch is our community. We have had a lot of our volunteers and our members up working at the pitch all over the summer in terms of developing our grounds and developing our facilities. And again, that's a great outlet for everyone, but everyone's still giving up their time. And I suppose, as you mentioned, society is a scary place at this point in time in terms of everything that is going on. There's different societal issues, drugs, alcohol, mental health, etc. And I suppose sport is so important for that. I see that through my own work. And I suppose that's what we as a community want for our own children, for the next generation, is really to pass that baton on. What we have, I suppose, experienced through growing up at the pitch. We've got really, really fond memories, lovely memories for the older generation as well. You can see the pride, you can see the I suppose the happiness that you bring to people when you won a match for such a small thing, running after a small ball or a big ball, the grand scheme of things, but it actually brings so much joy to people, and it does bring our community together. So we're very fortunate to have that.
Yeah. Shane, your thoughts on that?
I think everyone from Slaughtneil, they would, I know that again it is a cliche, but I don't think you really, if you were asked people from outside the community, they would know what it means to be really from Slaughtneil. We're very proud of it, and we don't take it lightly. Everyone, like I said, wears that their heart in their sleeve, and we kind of think we're different from around here, just because, like we say, we're nearly boastful of it, that we don't have a shop, or we don't have a restaurant, or we don't have a bar. All we have is our football pitch and hurling pitch, and I think it's something that we as Irish people can be proud of.
So am I right in saying Slaughtneil is kind of made up of about 350 odd households? That's give or take.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Chrissy said
Plenty.
that once in a podcast or something, so we're just going with that now.
All right, okay. Old man Chrissy. And so what happens if you don't like sport and you're in one of those houses?
Kicked out.
I don't think there's too many families that aren't involved, that live locally here, that aren't involved in the local, within the club, to be honest. I'm not sure if I can think of anybody off.
It's like I'm not sure if you are going to be talking to the Rounders team, but like that's another thing maybe though that does help. Like there's different, in the LGFA team being started and the Rounders team, like it's given everyone a chance. And then I know they started up a third hurling team and a few dodgy knees last week's playing for them. Like so it's given everyone a chance to be involved somewhere or another.
There's been lots of initiatives brought in about bringing even the older generation together. So I think there's a shopping trip coming up within the next couple of weeks, leaving from the club. So it is about trying to keep everybody involved and keeping that sense of a community, which Shane had said we're incredibly proud of. And we do probably think we're unique from everybody else. We wear, as you say, just probably reiterating what Shane said, we wear our hearts on our sleeves and we've got this... We pride ourselves on this never say die attitude as well, and I think that comes across not only on the pitch but within our community in general.
This club obviously very special on the pitch, off the pitch. Where would you all like Sleacht Néill to be in 20 years' time?
there's a massive development going on at the minute, and the work behind the scenes with that development committee, and they've put together a project, and I think we've all got the leaflet for the different funding and initiatives that's going on, and I think it would be great to see that there come to life. We are probably in need of a wee bit of upgrade of facilities, and don't get me wrong, if you were maybe to go out through Ireland, you might disagree, but when you see that the plans that the men and women have in place for us, it'll only take our club to the next level, and then maybe another All Ireland for being greedy.
Sounds good. What about you, Claire?
Yeah, I think just even from winning the county championship this year, and coming back to the clubhouse or to the hall, and you're seeing that the younger generation looking up at you, and it is just about trying to inspire that next generation, and hopefully seeing them come up through the ranks and developing them even further. There's significant work going in behind the scenes in terms of athletic development from within the club as well, so hopefully that will reap its rewards on top of everything else, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, great. And I guess the two youngsters, you guys will be driving it for decades to come. Rory?
Obviously you want the club in general to do well and for things to keep going the way they're going, but in terms of probably for people my age, you want to have the same sort of effect, or write your own story in the same way that the boys have that are a wee bit older than you.
Old boys really
Old boys, the old boys.
You've a hell of a batch to follow after, don't you?
Yeah, that's the thing, and like they constantly remind us of what they've won and what we haven't. But hopefully, like that's the long-term plan, is that you keep the club sustained at a level where it can compete every year for a county football and a county hurling, and anything after that, you go into bonus territory. And if you can emulate anything that they've done, which hopefully we will, and we believe we can. The club will still be thriving in 20 years' time, so that's the plan.
Yeah, I suspect it will. Cliona? Everybody speaking Irish?
Everyone's speaking in a United Ireland. A reunited Ireland. Let's be fired now. And,
always so political.
And I just the same thing as Rory said. We're lucky to live and play among legends, like people that we looked up to. Like we would have been in the hall whenever they were coming in with the first batch of All Irelands and Ulsters. So just if we can do the same thing, and again with the younger ones, and just I think the main thing for the community is just to retain the values. Like it's just grounding yourself and just knowing that you're part of something bigger. And a lot of success hopefully as well. So.
Yeah, you definitely have a strong values, political streak? The language, Snáb done Palestine, where you swam in every coastal location across the May bank holiday. So are you going to be a future chairperson of this club, I would hope?
I was aiming for like presidency.
Sorry, yeah, okay.
No, but it comes from the community, like, and again, that swim marine policy and stuff is just like, we're so lucky to live where we are and to live in peace and to be able to speak the language and express ourselves freely, like, so not to go into it very deep at all, but like, we need to count our blessings, and we definitely do. And maybe, you know, even though we're saying now we only realise how special it was the first few years, I don't think we'll actually understand it until we're old and grey, and we're looking back at the memories in the newspapers and thinking, how did that happen? Like, just magic. That's what Slaughtneil is, like, it's a dream of a place to live in and play for.
Great. Well, listen, a big thank you guys for giving up your time and coming here this evening. Can I get a round of applause, please, for Cliona, Rory, Claire and Shane, everybody? Thanks, guys. Can you welcome, please? We have Brendan, Chrissy, Emer and Caoimhe on the panel, everybody. This is our football panel. You're all very welcome. How you doing?
All good, yeah.
What's that look for?
Not a thing.
You know, it's funny. One of the reasons I know they're sort of slagging you, well, a lot, but a little, is Chrissy, you've sort of spread the gospel, I think, of Sleacht Néill in a big way. I knew the club had been successful, obviously, but I didn't know about the ethos. So you've obviously almost enjoyed telling people about this very special place, is my sense, looking in from afar.
Aye, and when you go to them sort of press events, the last thing you want to talk about is actually how you're doing and the code you're playing. You want to sort of keep a low scale, but when you go to them things too, I'm not really one for premeditating too much what I even say, but when people ask you questions and you just maybe start to think there on the spot and you realise that we do things a wee bit differently, and we probably do things differently on the pitch too. I think when you come from a non-traditional hurling county like Derry, our brand of hurling's different too. I think we play a different brand of hurling. We play maybe a different brand of football to some of the teams we play, you know, also in Ulster too. And I think when you go and play other teams, you actually realise that everybody has their own identity. And I'm always careful of saying, because I'm conscious of the fact that other Derry clubs are watching this tonight or hearing what I'm saying or what we're all saying, and there's part of them thinking, well, they're proud of where they come from too. It can't be understated the health of Derry at the minute. Like, so many of the clubs are doing unbelievable work. It's not just us, and that has to be said. And the reason why we probably increased our standards is because our neighbours down the road, Glen, have went to a really high level. And there's other clubs in Derry, like, in fairness to Newbridge, they're flying the flag fairly well in the football at the minute too. So a rising boat and all that.
How is the brand of hurling and football different?
I would say our brand of hurling is a small bit different from the very simple premise that we don't get to play as much hurling throughout the year as, well, I just use the example of our last opponent, Portaferry, on Sunday, or St John's, who are the next opponent. It's just not possible. We also have a lot of players that have traditionally played under-county football, so when you're in that bubble, there isn't much going on apart from that. So you have to adapt. You play maybe a more, should I say, a running brand of hurling, almost applicable to, you know, like football. Maybe our brand of football is not that much different, but I think Ulster football is played in a different, I would sense that even around the coaching circles now, people in different provinces view Gaelic football and how it should be played differently than some Ulster counterparts do.
Yeah. So in a sense, the running game in hurling is because you don't have as much time to spend on the technical aspects maybe, and therefore you're compensating for it with almost work rate and a will wear you down kind of a style.
I wouldn't use the adjective probably compensate, but I would certainly say it's different. We want to win. I think that's evident from the last panel, and that's hopefully going to be evident throughout the night that we like to win. We're not the most pleasant community. We're not winning all the time, but that's part of who we are. But I think it's just whatever it takes to win and whatever gives us the best chance of winning. And I don't want to do our hurlers a disservice, because we have a lot of very naturally, technically brilliant hurlers too. So it's all right for the hashes like me and Brendan.
The ladies football team, slow by comparison to get going. What's the backstory there, do you know? Or it's all come about relatively recently?
Yeah, fairly new for us. I think if you look at County Derry as a whole, it would be a real sort of camogie stronghold. The football's just sort of taken off in the last 10, 15 years.
Probably about that.
So really just trying to emulate the likes of Lavey, Steelstown, Glen, what they've won, their success. The underage girls started there last year, and then the seniors just this year. So we're going okay. The underage girls have taken to it really, really well.
Like winning county titles kind of well?
Oh, well, not yet.
Oh, really? Sorry.
It's in the works.
Okay.
I help with the under 10 camogues, and they just love it. They absolutely adore the sport. They've taken to it so well. So for something so new, but you can really see the transferable skills and how well they've just adapted to playing the two.
And how many of your camogie teammates have jumped over?
I think there's maybe 7 or 8 of us are playing dual at the minute.
Okay.
So hopefully get more on board for next year.
And Emer, were you playing any sport before you started with the football, or?
Well, I would have played camogie back in the day, but I can't say I was too gifted at that one. So maybe gave that up at about 12 years old. And then I do play rounders for the club as well, but I suppose I wouldn't classify that as dual player.
And what attracted you then to giving the football a go?
Just coming back to the club specifically, like I have all the girls play, like all my friends would play camogie, and I love going to all the games and watching it, and it was just wanting to be part of that community again. Like going to the club, the matches and stuff, like you do definitely get part of that community, but playing with it's just something different. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And are a lot of you all living in the area still? Like most clubs would talk about rural depopulation, and it's a big problem, and you know, you just lose people and it's hard to travel back. What's that side of things like for you guys?
I'd say for the most part, like most of us are still living.
We're fairly
around the
young,
area.
especially our footballers. So you would find you have a lot of students travelling between here and Belfast. But it's been grand this year anyways.
Yeah.
And you've all grown up together. You know each other since childhood, presumably.
Yeah, far too long.
Brendan, I have a quote about you from Shane. It's complimentary, don't worry. So he was talking about you as a hurler. I know this is the football panel, but you're dual. He said, Brendan is some animal. He wouldn't look out of place on any county hurling team in the country. I don't say that lightly. He's unbelievable.
I suppose you could be a sub in any team, can't you?
Chrissy, is he being modest?
He's a fair decent hurler, yep.
I've heard Chrissy say plenty of the time, bend your back and things like your second touch is a tackle, so I'll take that compliment while it's going. So,
tell us about the football then. Obviously so important to you both. How do you juggle the workload? I mean, I know we touched on that in the last panel with Shane in particular, but to be playing hurling, to be doing what you're doing at county level, and then trying to give your best to the football here, has that been a grind, near impossible, or very manageable?
Look, don't get me wrong, there's times when things are physically tough. I suppose earlier in the career we were trying to treat the two of them as separate nights, and it becomes difficult with the number of days you have in the week and trying to get sessions in, but them days are few and far between. The buzz that you get from one code doing successful that leads into the other, it's far more fulfilling than it would be to not do it. And the fact that we have the opportunity to do something that's different, and just because other people can't do it doesn't mean that we can't. And it's a bit of a lifestyle that you have to adapt to, but I think it's a lifestyle that has been taken on board by everyone in the community. You know, what does it not do for getting people out of the house on days where there could be nothing on, or even the level of communication that is required between all levels of management from top to bottom in the community about how to organise it. It gets people talking about the teams, the players, how you get the most out of them, and it gets you to be a wee bit more creative and how to get the most out of players. So there's definitely a lot that's evolved over the last while, but I find it certainly a lot more fulfilling playing both than it would be to just sit in the house with a night off. You'd be probably sitting there thinking, I wish I was out doing something. So you have to count your lucky stars that we've got an opportunity to do things and progress to a decent level, and we've got a good group of players that are all willing to row that same boat and almost make life easy for each other when it comes to trying to squeeze the boundaries as much as possible. They're trying to be innovative in the ways in which it can work better and how to improve and how to get the most out of it. So it is quite rewarding in that we've had some success to go along with it.
Yeah, to say the least. Chrissy, the club was founded in 53. There was no senior football county title until 04. It's a hell of a wait. And then nothing for 10 years, and suddenly 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, Ulsters in 14, 16 and 17. How do you explain what happened there?
Well, see John Joe Kearney sitting there. John Joe Kearney was assistant manager to Mickey Moran. I think Mickey Moran's a very pivotal figure in this club's history in terms of just changing a few things. Slaughtneil throughout the years, maybe traditionally, whether it's right or wrong, would have had a stereotype of being too passionate. Take what you want from that.
Sounds like a euphemism.
Might be. We made a massive thing with Mickey Moran of discipline and cool heads and, leaving no stone unturned in terms of no excuses, not getting beaten the big day by a point, and it's everybody else's fault but the players' fault. And I feel he really instilled that. I suppose it's when you hear that, them sort of stats in terms of what we won and when we won it. We're now going into our 5th year of not having a Derry Senior Football Championship. The 2020 COVID was our last football championship, but we're still hugely competitive. And as I touched on before, the Derry Senior Football Championship is a fierce animal. That's my opinion, yes, but it's backed up by the fact, like, you look at who won the Derry Senior Football Championship and their pedigree that goes into Ulster and beyond. Like, there's not many counties that can say the same. So it still remains, I suppose, for the dual players in the club, a wee bit of a stickler, because 5 years between drinks is a long time. But I still think there's a fair bit of solace to be taken in the fact that we're still massively competitive.
Because I remember it was 18, I was reading back again, when in the football, Nemo Rangers beat the football side in the semi-final, and I think Napirsig beat the Hurlers, and there's not much rest in between. And you were even doing an interview and you were saying, look, I'm not saying we should not be a dual club, far from it, but I do feel tiredness was a factor. I do feel we were stretched. That is the reality of what we're trying to take on here.
I think since then there was probably a moment to pause to reflect that the template, and I always did feel that, the template in terms of how we were training probably could have been a wee bit better. Now there's obviously that train of thought now, because we haven't won a football championship in 5 years, that maybe what we're doing is not right, but the reality is the margins are so fine. I just feel now that we were going off the back. I think 2016 was our first ever Ulster Hurling title. Culla beat us in the February of 2017. But that was our first year as a club ever navigating our way through a All-Ireland series or an Ulster series, really, of juggling the two codes. And it wasn't as if you could pick up the phone to X, Y and Z in Ireland and ask them, well, how have you kind of navigated these waters before? It just wasn't the case. You were learning as you went along. And that's not ideal, because you'd rather have a bulletproof system in place to give you the best chance of winning, but it just wasn't the case. I'm not saying we have a bulletproof system now. It's still up for debate in many ways, to be quite frank with you. But I do think we're a wee bit more savvy to some of the nuances around it. But I suppose until we claim that double again in Derry, you can't say that it's for sure the best system of how to train and how to keep players fresh. And unfortunately, as I know too well, mother time catches too.
Yeah. I suppose the thing is, Emer, like one of the great selling points of the club is that it is across all 4 codes. So like, I don't get the sense here anyone wants to give that up either. You know, that feels integral to what Sleacht Néill is about, even if it can cost the odd result here and there.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I suppose we've been wanting the ladies football for a while to have all 4 codes, as you've seen so many local clubs even getting all 4. And it's just amazing to see everybody out playing, and you wouldn't want to give up any code for a win in another. You know, you just, I suppose, just got to work harder and figure out what's the best path and how to navigate all of them.
There's a lot of talk, obviously, in GA at large about integration, and you know, there's naysayers in every walk of life, and so you don't have to go too far for a debate on radio, like, well, how will it work, and how will facilities work, and pitches, and it's all going to be, you know, acrimonious and tricky. How does it work here?
I suppose it's a bit of trial and error, trying to figure out training schedules and how everybody, like, I know the girls maybe struggled a bit this year with camogie and football, being out on the pitch nearly every night, and it was a bit of a struggle because this is the first year of our senior panel for the ladies football, that the camogues maybe had a bit of a rougher time than I myself, as I'm not out with them. But it was trying to figure out when was the best times for everybody out, and maybe, you know, the double training on the one night so that we could have another night off and resting, and taking maybe a couple of trainings later because the girls maybe had a camogie match at the weekend, and, you know, you definitely want to respect that they have a match, and, you know, we want them all to do well.
Yeah. How did you find it, Quiba?
Definitely tough. It was hard trying to adapt this year, and hard trying to find my feet, just in terms of actually going from a single code to playing both codes. But I suppose in a sense just trying to emulate what the men have done in the football and hurling, and trying to bring that into practice then with the girls as well, and showing them, well, if the boys can do it, so can we, and trying to bring everyone on together.
Something I've noticed reading about different people involved with the club today and in advance of coming here is so many of you are all involved in coaching as well. You know, I don't know if you guys started doing that. You have? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it almost seems like everyone's lending a hand somewhere in this place.
I think it's really important to give back. Like, this club raised us, and I think it's so important to give back to the club who has given us so much growing up. They've really, like, developed us, brought us on as people, as players. And I think it's so important to then give back to the younger generations coming through, and just try and be that positive role model, because I know that we had so many growing up, and trying to be that person for the younger ones then coming through.
In some ways, that's what's so special about this place, because I think a lot of people had role models growing up, or coaches who helped them, and then they get to a certain age and life takes over and they get busy and they have jobs and they just don't necessarily, I mean, they'd like to give back, but, you know, the world doesn't necessarily work like that. This place seems to get under your skin, and there's a great loyalty. I don't know if you have any thoughts on why that might be, all of you.
I suppose the right word is loyalty, but I suppose what maybe makes it a wee bit different in that identity doesn't solely come from the players on the pitch. I would say there's a massive pride in the people who help in any facet around the club, whether that be power hosing a wall, or cooking food for people, even providing facilities for the likes of this building here and the school and everything that drives the community as a whole. One will feed the other, and the fact that everybody's got a place somewhere, whether that be in score and the singing or Irish dance or any of those things, those are all seen as the same importance around this community as anything else. So it's not just about coaching and playing. Everybody has a respect for each other in their own field, and how do you utilise your own people in the best way possible. So everyone's got a chance to develop, everybody's got a chance to express what they're good at, and I think having a place where you can actually express yourself in any facet and be welcomed, and getting to show off the things that you get to provide are highly appreciated around here. So everyone's opinion is respected, and they value each other's company as well, which is a really important thing. And that, I would say, you could go into any house in this area and they would welcome you in, and you would have a cup of tea and have a conversation if you ever needed help. So I think there's a serious loyalty and pride in the trust in the people in this community. So it's really important to have that. But I think it's how we conduct ourselves, and that we talk about a Sleacht Néill-ness. It might not be how other people conduct themselves, but it's how we conduct ourselves, and that's what we're proud of. So when you've comfort in your own skin about about who you are and what you are, it definitely makes it easier to row in behind the people that you've got. So yeah, there's so many facets to this club, but I think everybody can be proud of all aspects of it.
Great thing to have in life, that kind of anchor. You know, wherever you go, you feel like Sleacht Néill-ness will always kind of be there for you. What's your perspective on all of these things, Chrissy?
I think the integration topic at the minute's a fairly common topic in GA, but as a club, we were one of the first clubs around. Like, all of our codes fall under the same club. That's not a common thing in Derry. I can't really comment further afield, but like, one executive committee makes all the decisions for all our codes. We're all under the one club. We all use the same facilities. Everyone gets equal and fair access to the pitches. There's no one code gets more than the other, and we're big on that.
Because that is a reality in lots of clubs. You know, the men's footballers want it on Tuesday at 7. Okay, you get it.
Yeah, no, it is a reality, but it's not a reality in Sleacht Néill, and it never has been a reality. That's why we can listen to these type of like podcasts, and maybe the naysayers will say, Sleacht Néill are portraying that they're this perfect club. We're not actually portraying that. What we're portraying is that we do a lot of things right, and hopefully they're founded upon common sense, you know, and that anybody that's a member of the club, and irrespective of what code they play, they have a fair crack at it. And it's amazing, and I hear a lot of horror stories, to be fair, the animosity that exists in other clubs about codes and fallouts and who gets the pitch and what night and who should have access to X, Y, and Z. And like, is it any wonder, there's them clubs, they're more fixated in that rather than getting things right, and that's why like success for them is usually not that consistent.
Everybody here, Gaeilgeoir?
Myself and Kiva.
I think just me anymore.
What's up, fellas?
Too old?
It is hard to learn new things as you get older, that is true. Brennan, come on.
I spent my time Irish dancing instead, so I'm striking culture from a different angle.
Oh, very good, I like it. I did hear you're very good.
I'm alright.
Brendan is going to dance this panel out for us now. We're going to play some music.
Only if you sing.
Irish from a very young age, and like through school or through the club? Like how does it work exactly, or is it a bit of both?
Well, for myself, it was through the school. So I went to the local Irish nursery and primary school across the road.
Okay.
So I've been doing it for a long time. And then we had an Irish unit in secondary school in Maharal, the local school. So and then community as well, like even on the pitch. Like I know Clena's mama used to take us for Camogie underage, and she would have always brought in a couple of focal, and even for the girls that didn't, they would have even used the few wee words, and it was just, you could always see it in the club, no matter if you were fluent or not.
Yeah. Because like a lot of people, I'm from Kildare, did it for, 14 years in school, and just I've lost it. Whatever I had, I've lost it. Do you think, like, if Sleacht Néill was picked up and was 50 minutes west and in the Republic, do you think it would be as valued as much? Like, is it to do with almost having to fight for it, do you suspect? Or why do you think it's so important?
Well, I think it was really driven in the era. If you think about Anne Carn and the work that Anne Carn have put in the last 30 years, if we celebrate 30 years, the work of Padraig, Niall, and I know I'm going to forget people, sure. But the work that them people put in to sort of build the language and make it sort of like a household, like even make it visible in the community. I actually didn't go through Irish medium education myself. I was fortunate enough my brothers and sisters did, so me and my parents sort of learned it together then. So I would say I'm fluent now. Me and Emer studying primary education with Irish together.
Can't get rid of me.
I know, can't get shot of her. But yeah, I think it's class. The recognition that the language has in the area, I think it's deadly.
Yeah, amazing. The hurlers have training to get to. It's a cold night, fellas. It's a cold night. I'd warm up. Thank you so much for giving up your time. Genuinely appreciate it. So to Brendan, to Chrissy, to Emer, to Quiva, the football panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.